go.
Alright, welcome back to the finals, D20 Gaming LLC Two-Headed Giant Commander Tournament. My name is Eric Volkers. I'm joined here by Max Crandall, and we got a new buddy, Squishy. How's it going, bud?
This is Louis Scott Vargas in the booth. Washed out in, my top 8 round. Had to come up here and sit and talk with everybody. No, this is Chris. Was playing on team I Want My Chromatic Lantern.
Absolutely, and you guys just lost to Balls Deep. So why don't you run us through that last game a little bit? What was in your hand there at the end that you were trying to cast? We saw the 3 black mana, and then the Lantern come down, which helped cast the Wrath of God. What else were you sitting on?
I had Propaganda, Mystic Study, Kalidas, Trader of Get, I do believe is the one, the 4 mana one. And I don't remember the other cards because they weren't of any importance.
How do you think that this red deck, now this is back-to-back finals for the red deck. They won last time, these two commanders. Do you feel as though this is the best way to go in the two-headed giant commander format?
I want to say it's very powerful, but it's probably not the best way to go.
Absolutely.
Due to the simple fact of having 2 mono red, you have to dig really deep for cards, and some cards you probably won't even be able to find.
And, having the singleton format, having them both being mono red, really leaves the card selection for each deck kind of slimmed down, where you playing Esper and Nate playing just mono blue allows for a little more give on what cards you each can have in your deck.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't even know some of the cards these red decks were playing. They had to go
Some
deep.
of them we didn't know neither.
All right, looks like very common play. Going to go Mountain into Zurgo for one of these red decks here. And I got our other red players shuffling their hands, seeing if they can get anything out for 1 mana.
What is the other team's commanders?
Horde Notions.
And Maralen of the Morn Song. So
5 color, some 5 color spice from the one player. And we saw these guys on camera earlier today, and it's an interesting synergies that they have going between the two decks here. We don't see the commanders cast a lot, it seemed like. Just very interesting how they played.
The way they got to the finals here, folks, is they actually got a Helm of Obedience lock against the team they were facing, and that just locked the game down. So that's really what they're trying to do, is get Maralen out right away, so you can not draw, and you can just start tutoring your deck at 3 life apiece, and you are good to go, finding your combo pieces right away.
I know the last two-headed giant that we played against them, and it was actually Maralen and Animar. And they were doing a Maralen into Stranglehold lock.
Interesting. Gonna see they're still going over their plays. The red players untap, trying to decide. Kari Zev typically comes down at this point. The red deck we've seen actually fight through multiple sweepers here, and multiple times. It's usually not good enough just to have 1 sweeper. You need 2 or 3
I
or
know
4.
During Swiss when we played, I dropped 3 sweepers on them. 2 or 3 sweepers. And it still was barely enough. It was 2 or 3 sweepers plus Ensnaring Bridge that finally got it to lock them out.
We're going to see a Smash to Smithereens take out a Mana Rocket, looks like.
It was an Executioner's Cap selection.
Executioner's Cap.
Which is a smart move to make sure they can't get rid of either Zurgo or Kari Zev.
And that keeps the pressure on the life total, losing 3 life. Zurgo gets in to knock him down a couple more. Follow-up play here. Going to be suspending a Rift Bolt.
And they're using the dice.
They're after my own heart. I'm a Modern player. That's actually one of the cards that I know, Rift Bolt.
I'm a Modern player, and that's a card I play a lot, is Rift Bolt.
Absolutely. Were they after your own heart with that mono red? I can't believe I don't see you on something like this.
I do play mono red for 1v1, but for a 2-headed giant aspect, I switched it up.
Would you? What do you play for your
Zurgo?
Zurgo.
Yep.
Zurgo player. It's nice having that 1 drop for you access to that every turn 1.
The thing I noticed though when we were playing during Swiss is the player who plays Zurgo. I don't know if he realized that you can dash Zurgo out of the command zone.
That's some spice.
Yep. It does cost your extra amount of mana for each time that he goes into the command zone, but you can dash him out.
Funny if they win the tournament, second tournament in a row, and they're not even playing their decks correctly. We need to get better, guys.
I don't know if correctly is the correct term, just because if this is their back-to-back,
they must be doing something
right.
Oh, it's just hard to play against two red decks that come out. Like, they hit us on turn 3 for like 13. So
we were talking about how we would counter. I think me and him are both just going to play prison decks. Me and Max will just enter the next tournament playing mono red-white sweepers.
Yep. Well, mass land destruction.
Mass land destruction.
I don't think it's really going to hurt them, because by the time you hit your land destruction cards on turn 3, turn 4, they already have enough out that you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
That's why you run Jockle Hops. Get rid of both problems, lands and creatures.
Threat level demon going over their hands here. This team, threat level demon, we've seen a couple times. We've seen them out in the tables, out on the general tables out there, and they really go over their turns. They take a lot of time. They decide. They set up. I believe that one of the reasons why they're in the finals is because of the time that they take to make sure that the play that they are making is the best play for the turn.
yeah, I can agree with that.
Seem to be fairly tight play. Rift Bolt going to come off, throw a few more up to the face, down to 32.
And it looks like there is a Swiftfoot Boots hanging out on threat level demon's side, probably in preparation to cast Maralen, so she just doesn't get lightning bolted off the field right away.
What do the boots do?
Gives the equipped creature hexproof.
Very nice.
And haste.
And haste.
Oh.
It's a Commander All-Star card.
Commander All-Star card. Was that just recently reprinted in A25?
It
Yes,
was.
it was.
I believe I saw a foil one the other day.
Ooh, pretty.
Very pretty. Just conferring with the teammates now on what course of action they'd like to take here. This red deck, these red decks, plural, trying to end it as quick as they can, obviously. I see a vortex, sulfuric vortex in our right player's hand. If that can come down and the clock gets even shorter then.
Yep, and I think he's being a little hesitant because the top left-hand player has 2 blue mana available and an extra mana, so that's counterspell territory.
What can you do with 2 blue? Yeah, right? 2
Nothing.
blue is so innocent.
Pass.
Yeah. Decisions from the red players here. We might see them try to bait some counter out, but the card has to be good enough. Then you got to have a card that's borderline, maybe your second or third best card in your hand.
So I noticed watching this now.
Look at that. That's a Magus of the Moon.
That has to draw something out, and there it is. Mana Leak Vortex should be able to hit the field here now. Beautiful. Look at that sequencing from the red players.
So I have to give these red players props. Both of their lands match.
That is team. That is team unity right there.
Might be a little OCD for me because I do it with all my decks, but...
See, I play all white bordered lands that I purposely scrubbed out the black border on. Like, they're all originally black borders, but I do this really crappy alteration where I just take like an eraser and I just erase like all the borders off. So you should see like my Crucibles that are all white bordered. I got Force of Wills that are white. I'm just kidding. Yeah,
I was going to say blasphemy. What is going on?
All my invocations are white bordered.
No, you took the original card for the invocation and just glued it on top.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
You can read it better.
So we see them going down to 26 here as they untap, and another swamp going to come down for threat level demon. Hit that magical necropotence.
That can't
mana.
be played.
That can't be played. Just deciding here. I think that one Underground Sea is worth more than all the other cards that are face up on the table right now by a long shot.
That Dimir Signet coming down. The Maralen player still missed a land drop last turn, so he's behind a land.
And this red deck doesn't give up. If you miss your land drops, they punish you.
They both missed one because I think he had all 3 mana last turn.
No,
hit the
because
mana
we're only on turn 3 for their side because the red players have not missed land drops, and they are number 1 seed, so they would have been choosing to go first.
Ooh,
that's pretty. Gonna get 3 black tapped here, and bring in the commander. Gonna connect the boots to it. Going to be real hard for red to get a threat like that off with Shroud. Or Hexproof, or what is it?
Hexproof.
Hexproof.
See, the downside to this, and I can already see this, is that red's going to tutor up for their straight-up burn spells.
And just
They're not even going to care anymore. They're going to go for their cards that hit both players for X amount of damage. That kind of stuff.
So I guess the strategy you're saying right now is just get the burn to the face so it makes them really think about tutoring for 6 life.
Yep.
I mean, Maralen's a great commander for this format, but against this mono red deck, at what point do you say you don't want to tutor that card and risk the 3 life?
So I wouldn't be surprised to see like a Flame Rift or something. I do believe Flame Rift deals 4 damage to each opponent. Or to each player, pardon.
Flame Rift? That's the one in red, deal 4?
To each player.
Ooh.
So that'd be 8 damage dealt to them. And then the other guy could go for Acidic Soil, which each player takes 1 damage for each land they control. So then that'd be another 6. So 8 and 6, that's 14. 16 during their next turn with Sulfuric Vortex.
I'm glad we got the red player to give us
Right.
a lowdown on these. Looks like they are doing a little bit of searching here through the decks.
Or they could even go for Spell Shock and just jam Spell Shock in there. Spell Shock reads that whenever any player casts a spell, they take 2 damage.
So like a Mana Barbs type thing.
Heck, they could even go for Mana Barbs.
We saw them play something against you guys that drained you, correct? Was that what it was?
Spell Shock was the one.
Spell Shock was what was draining you?
During our round in Switch, they played something Ink of something. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, the land's controller takes 2 damage.
Ink of Mishra.
Yep.
Ink of Mishra.
That could be another thing they decide to take is just incidental damage like that and say, you're going to let us tutor, then we're just going to set it up so you guys kill yourselves.
And the red deck almost has this ability through those cards to have almost a static life drain. You know what I mean? It just kind of works on you, and then if they can chip in with some of their creatures as well, well, that's all the better then.
Yeah, I can see them really thinking hard because if my guess is, if I were on their team as 2 red players, what you're thinking about is what you're going to tutor for the next turn if they stop what you're doing now.
Do you go for something to get rid of the boots right here? Do you go for an Abrade or a Vandal Blast just to see if they can counter it and draw a counter out? And if you're lucky, you get rid of the boots and you can deal with Maralen? Or is Maralen at this point...
I think Maralen's kind of a moot point. If you can dish out as much damage, you pretty much put your opponents in the spot that they have to decide, okay, or how much damage are we going to take to try and stop them.
Is that what I think it is?
I see a Blood Moon
That's
there.
what I thought. That looks like a Blood Moon.
I don't know what Blood Moon's that great. I mean, I know that
It's going to stop the blue player. I think what they're worried about is the counter spells out of the blue player.
He's got a Dimir Signet and he's got an island. That's... What, does he not have access to white right now?
Nope, he has white, blue, black. So
yeah,
he's
but
missing...
once Blood Moon hits, he's going to lose access to white but still have double blue and black.
Yep.
So I'm just not as much of a fan of that.
I'm not either.
I would personally rather go for burn or something that's going to pressure my opponent's life total a little bit more. Sulfuric Vortex is on the field. That's a great clock. Let's speed it up.
Yep, I would probably go for Spell Shock if I had to choose, because then you play Spell Shock, and in order for them to remove Sulfuric Vortex or any other threats, they're going to take 2 damage to do it.
Unless they just choose to get rid of Spell Shock.
Now, since I've played threat level Demon before, one of these players I would convince them to go for Chaos Warp. Strictly because if they go for a Stranglehold type of lock, you have Chaos Warp to get rid of it before your next turn to tutor.
Yeah, you want to have your answer to the combo or to a lock.
Yep. And red really doesn't have many answers, and I'm not sure if they're playing Red Elemental Blast or Pyroblast, either of them. So that could be another thing to consider if they want to have one guy go for threats, one guy go for responses.
Definitely taking a lot of time trying to make sure that they make the correct play here. So, next tournament, next Two-Headed Giant Commander tournament, got any ideas for what you want to run?
Not sure. I actually was seriously considering playing Brimaz, King of Oreskos.
We saw that pop up in your hand a couple times.
Yep.
Or in your graveyard that last round.
As mono white and just play all the life gain spells. Actually play it more of a Soul Sisters build. and then I have all the white removal. The only downside is you don't get as good a card draw, but I think as a 3/4 general that brings in a token whenever he attacks or blocks, it could be a powerful strategy.
I like bringing the extra body. We were talking about, is it a Traxa?
Yes.
Right? That has the...
Brea brings the helicopters.
Brea brings the Thopters. That Brea's ability to bring the bodies and then the toolbox printed on her to be able to bolt, to be able to give -4/-4, or just gain some life.
Yes.
Incredibly versatile. Of course, your mana base, when you have to buy every duel, is going to be expensive.
Very expensive. You could go my route and know a lot of people who have the duels and borrow them.
Yeah, absolutely. You touch enough butts in your day and you make a few friends.
That's definitely an odd way to make friends, I guess.
Hey, well, I don't judge Chris for however he wants to do it, so. Still trying to decide. Looks like they have 4 cards pulled out.
Or is that...
If this was a time match, we'd be given a slow play warning.
Definitely.
It's a tough choice, so it's the finals. I understand you want to make
the big thing that's probably running through their mind is what are they going to tutor?
Because it looks like they're 1 mana away from the Helm of Obedience lock.
But without Rest in Peace on the field, it's not a lock.
Right.
Helm of Obedience, you do it until, you hit a land or something like that? Or a creature?
Yeah, until I believe it's or something of the same color. We'll look it up here quick.
One of the few cards I don't know because I've never played it before.
Helm. Yeah, X cards or a creature card. You do it. You mill until you do X cards or a creature card. So obviously, with no cards going into your graveyard, that never happens.
They all go to exile, and then you go to draw, and you lose.
Yep. So they have to be ready for that lock.
Looking at what his partner tutored up.
As he explains it to him, he's probably like, why'd you do that, dude? Oh, cause they...
As they said, I do believe the one guy's name is Nick, and I can't think of the other guy's name. But the one guy with the blue playmat said that he's the mouth, and the guy on the other playmat is the brains of the organization. So
they know their roles.
Yeah, that's how they explained it to us.
Just going over all the scenarios that their opponents could be working with there. Obviously, with 100 cards at your disposal, there's quite a few things that you could be worried about.
Yep.
Looks like they have decided. They let the opponents cut the deck here. Let's see how this turn plays out. Just think, everybody, that was just the draw step.
It's hard when you get a free tutor.
Mountain, good choice.
Yep.
Not sure if those are the mountains I would play, though. I might choose something. Like I said, I really like the unhinged mountains. I wasn't a big fan of the unstable ones, though, to be honest, when they came out.
No, they failed on that one, in my opinion, being a red player. My new favorite lands, though, are the Rebecca Gway Standard Showdown foils.
Yeah, those definitely have her classic art on them. Looks
and it's
really good.
It's more of a painted art than like a screen printed art.
Yeah, so much of today's... is that a negate?
It looks like a negate.
Full art negate.
And it's what they tutored for. I'm not sure what that card is, but it definitely drew out the counter spell. So let's see what the Zurgo player is going to play now.
Oh, he's going deep.
Captain
Landry Storm.
Which makes sense, because if they don't have a removal spell for her, she's going to create tokens, so he doesn't have to tutor lands anymore.
Right.
But then again, Maralen is there, and she's able to block. And she is a 3/4, I do believe.
That sounds right from what I read earlier. If not, she's a 4/4, maybe.
Maybe she's a 3/3.
Morn Song. Look up Morn Song.
Merlen.
Hang with us, folks.
Of the Morn Song? Or just put in of the Morn Song.
Players can't draw cards is the first line of text. That's a pretty solid line of text.
She's a 2/3.
2-3. Okay. So maybe he was deciding to try to force a trade with it because you get to sacrifice the treasure to make a Lannery Storm a 3/2.
And pay 3 life and then you tutor.
Yep. Which it looks like they did some sort of removal spell to get rid of Lannery Storm.
They force of willed it.
Oh boy.
Which I found amusing during Swiss. I don't remember who we were playing against. It was Nehebdek and Mizzix.
Mm-hmm.
And tapped out. My blue player was tapped out. And they were like, okay, we don't have to worry about counter magic. And I started laughing. And they're like, what? I'm like, Force of Will, Pact of Negation, Foil. And they're like, oh, yeah.
You should have just said Mana Tide. That white counterspell deck.
Right.
I love nothing more than a good Mana Tide. A good Mana Tide that just gets me right in the heart. I love seeing a good Mana Tide. We were cubing the other day, and I saw a black-white player jamming spells against a control player, and sure enough, counter, the black-white player plays another spell, the blue player had another counter, and he got him with the Mana Tide. Oh, it was so sweet. Warmed my heart.
Okay, we're on to the other team tutoring now.
Threat level demon is tutoring now, dropping 6 life to do it. So I think it's a make it or break it time for them.
You have to be assembling some sort of combo or some sort of lock, right? At this point, if you're them, are you getting a sweeper? You're still going to have to pay 6 life next turn.
Plus the 2 from Vortex.
Jeez. I wonder if he's playing like a Solemnity lock in here, like Solemnity Unlife could be an option if you're tutoring a bunch.
Could be, because Phyrexian Unlife reads damage dealt is turned into the form of infect after you reach 0 life. It's not loss of life. So it is pay 3 life for Maralen, so technically you do not get infect counters if you were playing Phyrexian Unlife.
How does Phyrexian Unlife read? I play a bunch of the cards.
But Sulfuric Vortex does deal damage.
Sulfuric Vortex does deal damage, though.
5 turns from that.
I'm just...
we played a 15 infect in this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Phyrexian Unlife, you don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. But it does... he looks like he's trying to decide. I don't know if... What color combo is Maralen? Mono black?
Yep.
So you can't have white cards, right?
Nope. Right, but the Horde and Notions player could.
That's true. They could each go... The Horde and Notions player could have the lock then.
That's how they played last time that we played them, during the last 2 at a giant tournament. The Maralen player was there to set up the ability to search up the combo lock. But I do hope that they do not forget the Sulfuric Vortex also reads players can gain life, so I hope they don't go for life gain stuff.
Yeah, that would be a big mistake. Doing a little bit of math, it looks like, trying to make sure they're tutoring for the correct cards. I think that the Horde of Notions player has his library in his hand too right now, sifting through that, just off camera. They're just talking about what they want to do here, what combo they want to grab.
Yeah, it looks like the Maralen player stuck on 2 cards to go for.
Yeah, he has 4 available mana to 3 lands in that mana rock, whatever it is.
Looks like they're discussing a certain card pulled out there. Goes back and forth, can't decide. Both good cards, I'm sure. But you got to pick one.
Yep. This is where the teamwork really comes in. Trying to figure out with your partner, what are you two each going to grab that makes sure you can stay in this game for another couple turns. If not, try to lock it out.
The red deck is so good at keeping up the pressure, too. I believe that players both still have hands here. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 cards in this left player's hand. I'm not sure if he's short on mana still. Looks like he's been a little congested there on his mana base.
Now, we did talk to those 2 players after the game, and they said that their curve rounds off at 3.
Yeah. That's how my Gitrog deck is. When I play competitive Gitrog, it has almost all 3 drops. I think I have 1/5 in Ad Nauseam.
Yep.
I have 1/5 in maybe a card or 2 more. But everything is low to the ground. You're casting it.
Yep.
You got your rocks. I mean, you're rocking.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a 6 mana sorcery in there Maybe it's an instant called Fire Blast, but
Ooh.
technically that is not ever cast at the maximum amount of mana, because it reads, sacrifice 2 mountains instead of casting it for its mana cost to deal 4 damage to target creature or player.
Absolutely. Way to finish off the game, tap out. Really slam it in. We can kind of hear there's a wall separating us from the players, but they are having very animated conversations about what the right thing is to do here. It's a tough choice. It's going to be a close match. You know what I mean? If they can, with these players tutoring like this, I mean, I assume you play a tutor one when you have plenty of combo pieces, right? So, is it going to be quick enough? Are they going to be able to stay alive once they assemble whatever lock they're going for? Or do you just take a removal, something to get rid of Sulfuric Vortex here?
I honestly think that they just die next turn if they don't get the lock.
Dark? Is that Dark Depths?
It is a Dark Depths.
So they're working on something spicy. Maybe they think that the only way they can win is getting a Dark Depths Mirage Mirror combo going here or something like that. We could see a Vampire Hexmage maybe in hand here come out for 2 mana.
They're also debating something with Horde Notions, but I don't see enough mana to cast him yet.
Wonder if he tutored for
that land drop. That's
that sweet land drop that he needs.
He's still short red too.
Yeah,
though.
you would need a green and a red source.
Unless he goes for a filter land.
Very true.
Firelit Thicket, I think, is the filter land.
That is
that creates
correct.
red and green.
So that would be a possible play to be able to take that line of play.
Yeah, I'm super curious because I honestly think unless they have counter magic up or some way to permanently stall out the game, they're just going to lose next turn. At 15 life, if I'm reading that correctly.
What's the play here? Are they just gonna have to take 6 from? Is the tutor a must ability? Do they have to do that, or is it a may ability?
I will look.
I do believe it reads just pay 3 life, search for a card in your library.
At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player loses 3 life, searches his or her library for a card, puts it into his or her hand, and shuffles their library. So it is a must.
Yeah.
Well, it would appear that they have chosen, because I see them shuffling. Presenting decks for cut. Let's see what they went for, because I'm very curious, as I'm sure all of the...
So Dark Depths did hit the field.
And a tropical island over on that side, too. Oh, is that going to be take an extra turn?
That is. Here we go.
So Word could get another tutor to go find...
They need to remember they're going to take another 2 damage from Sulfuric Vortex again on their next turn. Which will put them down to 13.
There's the Crypt Ghast.
That's going to make some mana.
2 tutors are going to put them down to 9. 5.
2 tutors, oh, is that 6 life?
Yep.
So they take an 8 down from...
Well,
they took 10, didn't they?
Something else hit them.
Because they took 4 from the Vortex, because it's each player,
Oh,
and 2 tutors.
I didn't even think about that.
I forgot it was each player.
Ouch.
So here's where they have to do it. They have to find the Rest in Peace and Helmlock.
Does to mill them out and then pass the turn?
Yep.
But see, the bad side to that is even if they pass the turn, if they don't have counter magic up, the burn players could just be sitting on Lightning Bolt, Lightning Strike.
Yep. There's plenty of cards
Lightning
in
Bolt,
those hands.
Shock, anything like
Those
that.
hands are full. I mean, maybe not full, but there's cards. There's enough where you got to worry about it. I'm trying to think of why you grab the Dark Depths here. I'm really interested to see if that has some effect here, because I'm not familiar with their decks. But when they're at 30 life, they're going to take 4 off of Vortex.
Put them down to 26. Dark Depth swings for 20.
Yep. Oh, jeez.
Sorry about that, folks.
Gonna have to yell at those hooligans.
Oh, we got some good wobble going on there.
Yeah.
It's like we're surfing.
It's just, we always have earthquakes in Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin, it's a blizzard quake, even though it's 45 degrees out today on this St. Patty's Day.
The ice fell off the roof.
It's a flat roof.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well. The
It's
ice,
a mall.
the
It's
ice fell
inlet.
through the roof.
Next door. They're still tutoring. And yeah, like Eric was saying, that Dark Depths was a very interesting tutor.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is that a Vampire Hex Mage you just set out?
There's a Cryptghast.
The card right next to Dark Depths. What is that sitting there?
That is a Vampire Hex Mage.
I'm still not sure unless the other player has the other piece to go with it to deal that additional damage. I'm not sure how they're going to pull it off.
Is that a Hex Mage? What is that card?
That is a Hex Mage.
Okay.
Drops the Hex Mage. Removes the counters.
Is he going to fling it? Are they going to do 20 and then fling it at him?
But fling requires sacrifice a creature that you control.
So
the
you
mono black
control.
player can't fling it.
Yep.
Does Merit Lage have trample?
I believe it's just flying.
Oh, flying. Okay,
indestructible.
flying is all I needed to know. Because I'm like, Zurgo's sitting there.
I know it's flying and indestructible.
Then
I know
that's-
there's another keyword. Haste. Haste is the other keyword, I do believe.
Nope, just flying indestructible. I think is it the demon, the Westville Abbey that has haste?
Westville Abbey.
Or is that lifelink?
It has lifelink. No. Yes, it does have lifelink. 'Cause it's a
Lifelink,
9/7.
flying, haste. Is that its
Yep,
keywords?
and indestructible.
And indestructible?
Yeah, I believe Ormondal
But
is
they
indestructible
did
as well.
take another turn after Dark Depths came into play, so it does not have summoning sickness anymore.
Right.
Although technically it still does because Merit Lage is a new permanent entering the battlefield.
But I think they took two. Well, we're going to find out how this is going to end quick, folks.
Oh, there we go. Boots are going on to Merit Lage.
Yep. Ormondal, Profane Prince, has flying, lifelink, indestructible, and haste.
Yep.
Damn, 4 keywords. That's quite the land.
Yeah, a lot of work to get them there sometimes, though.
I enjoyed those decks in Standard. I enjoyed those green-black aristocrat style decks.
Yeah.
Those were fun. 5 life, a precarious position. For 3 mana. I have no idea what that card is.
Neither do I.
Looked like it was a discard card of some sort. So it looks like he discarded 2 or 3 cards.
They each did. And
Ouch.
lost.
So I bet you that was a Mind Shatter. Each opponent discards X cards.
Well, here it is, folks. They're going to lose 4 off the Vortex. Oh, doing some math here on what's going on. They have them. The 4 from the Vortex, and they have to search. That's 6 life. That's 10 life.
There are still upkeep triggers.
There's the
I was
handshake,
going to
folks.
say, if they have cards in
man,
hand.
just enough.
But that's why they played the Mind Shatter. They had to
But
discard their
I still
hands.
think that they had cards in hand.
Maybe land. No, I think the bottom right player discarded his entire hand.
Okay.
Because he put 2 or 3 cards in the graveyard. His partner put 2 or 3 cards in the graveyard. The handshake, look at that. Their own sulfuric vortex guys did it.
Wow. Threat level demon, keeping balls deep from repeating here, but they have put up another great showing. That's a very interesting take on the format from threat level demon. A combo piece with a tutor on a stick, basically, as your commander. You just buy enough time, have a 5-color control player deck basically there to help keep you guys alive. Play a couple counters, counter heavy, removal heavy deck, and then a couple lock pieces in there.
Yeah.
It's a good take. Congratulations to Threat Level Demon for taking it down. They're going to get the box of A25, that 25th anniversary set. May the pulls be in their favor. Hopefully they get foil Chalice, foil Jace, and then they trade it to me.
For the cube.
For the cube, exactly. The cube always needs some beautiful pieces of cardboard. Once again, my name is Eric Volkers.
I'm Max Crandall.
And I'm Chris Degner, or you can call me the Squishy.
We appreciate you checking us out today at D20 Gaming LLC in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Until next time, we'll see you soon.